Hi and welcome to InFocus. This is Jabbar Al-Ubaidi. In this episode, we talked something really, I think, is very relevant, very important, very essential to our community, not just in Massachusetts, but also throughout the country, and I would say throughout the world. I visited the Bridgewater State University website, and I quoted the following from the site. Bridgewater State University was founded in 1840. So this is how old this university is. By Horstman, the father of the American education, which is true. They called it the father of American education, and we are, Bridgewater State University definitely is proud to have, the grand or the founders of the American education, driven by his belief, that's the founder, in education as the great equalizer for all citizens. And today, Bridgewater State University, according to the website, has nearly 10,000 current students and over 75,000 alumni in all 50 states, and I added around the world because this is true. This is, the quotation, BSU has also, in a new quotation, approximately 3,000 courses in more than 100 years of study, and is recognized as one of the best universities in the nation for the outstanding and graduate research offerings. And quote. This is important, and we're going to talk about the undergraduate research as well, because it's really one of Bridgewater State University's signature. I will add, BSU also offers over 200 study abroad programs in more than 50 different countries. Over 2,000 students participate in internship, health experience or practicum experiences each year, and 88% of BSU graduates secure jobs or enroll in graduate school within 6 months to a year after graduation. That's the third quotation. Bridgewater State University offers academic opportunities for local students, and I say that's in the very probably 10 seconds. In Massachusetts, regional students in the New England region, students throughout the United States, and international students as well. To discuss all these issues and more, I'm delighted to have Bridgewater State University, the president of Bridgewater State, my friend, Fred Clark. Mr. President, thank you so much. And as you see from, I deliberately made this quotation from the website because, and this is the website, it's not the internal website, this is the external. Yep. So people, they know about the Bridgewater State University, and I know you always talk about the Bridgewater State University as a real institute, not as an institute just among thousands of schools or institutions, but is distinguished itself. And I would like to start our conversation. What makes BSU, as Bridgewater State University, special and distinguish itself from many institutions, not just in Massachusetts and New England, but also in the nation?
Well, as I say to parents and prospective students, even though we're a big institution, you just gave some statistics, we're the 4th largest public in Massachusetts, we're the 10th largest public or private higher ed institution in Massachusetts out of 110 universities or colleges just in this one state. That's not what we're proud of. What we're proud of, and what I say to parents, is we want to get to know the names of our students, we want to understand their hopes and their dreams, and we want to do our best to help them to fulfill them. That has to only occur in a small environment. So what happens at Bridgewater, even though we have a lot of students, it's a big place, we keep our classes small. There is no class bigger than 40 at Bridgewater State. Other institutions have classes that are as big as 700 students, and you have to literally push a button to raise your hand to be seen. At Bridgewater, we see you. And our courses are taught by professors, not by teaching assistants or graduate assistants. We need to get to know our students so that we can find ways to provide the supports that they need to succeed at the end of the day. We have excellence excellence in our faculty, excellence in our programs, which are accredited. They're some of the best programs in the state and in the nation. They're diverse programs, meaning they cover everything from aviation to accounting to photonics engineering. And we provide the kind of opportunities that are really unusual in a higher ed setting. You mentioned undergraduate research. We have one of the best undergraduate research programs in America. 1,800 students do undergraduate research. But we also know that every student at Bridgewater is there to get a job, to ultimately find meaningful employment. So we relentlessly work on providing opportunities for them to find pathways to employment. That's a critical part of student success for us. We have 1,000 paid internships on our campus, 1,000 student jobs on our campus. We have some of the biggest career fairs and job fairs and internship fairs anywhere in this region. So we know those things are important. We also have study abroad. You mentioned that. You have to learn to be a global citizen in this current world. You also have to have other clubs and organizations to find your people. We do all that, Jabbar, and we do it at an incredibly affordable price, one of the most affordable pathways.
I think this is very important to highlight. Yes, go ahead and explain that. You know,
So-
the affordability issue is very important, especially now
Right.
in 2024. Yes.
That's right. Of course, we get state subsidies for our undergraduate day programs, and that's important as well. So we're really grateful for the support of the state of Massachusetts. They provided record support for state-funded financial aid as well. But when you add it all up, most of our students commute. The commuter student at Bridgewater today pays per year $11,700 per year. But very few students actually pay that because there's all kinds of support and financial aid to support them. If you live on campus, it's a little bit more. About 30% of our students live on campus. But here's what's new. You hear a lot about free community college, and you also hear more recently at UMass, if you make $75,000 as a family or less, you go to UMass for free. Well, frankly, that's been true for a long time. It's true at the state universities as well. That's the definition of Pell eligible. If you're Pell eligible, you're going to go to any of these institutions for free now. But at Bridgewater State, one of the things we've realized is that if you come from a family that makes $125,000 or less, you'll be able to go to Bridgewater State essentially for free because we're covering your tuition and your mandatory fees for our students, not just new students coming in.
Tuition and the fees.
Tuition and mandatory fees. So we've been able to do that because we have federal, state, we have university funds, and more recently we have private funds. UMass is not making that commitment, and really none of the privates can make a commitment that large. We're uniquely suited. The average income in Massachusetts is $90,000 per family. We're deep into the middle class at $125,000. So that's been the case, but we haven't really marketed that, and we're going to be marketing that to tell the story of access and excellence and opportunity at Bridgewater State going forward.
So, Mr. President, is there any also difference between in-state and out-of-state and international students, or how you look at it?
Yeah, we provide support for all out-of-state students because you pay a significantly more higher tuition when you're an out-of-state student, whether you're from Connecticut or whether you're from Qatar. You're out-of-state. So one of the things we've done is automatically provided a kind of a tuition leveling discount. We call it a Horace Mann scholarship for all of those students. It's $5,000 each, and everybody gets it. But what we're really trying to do is just equalize that tuition for in-state and out-of-state. Many other institutions have done that, but Bridgewater was a leader in that space.
Now, I know you are working on the strategy 2.0, and it's come with 5 goals. And one, I think, outstanding goal is, all of course integrated together, but one goal is really focus on student success.
Yeah.
What does that mean for the families that are our audience when they say student success? How to translate that into action through the 4 years or 5 years of study at Bridgewater State University?
All of our institutions support the success of our students. If you're not kind of in business as a higher ed institution to advance the success of your students, you probably should change jobs. We are in the business of helping our students to succeed. To do that, you really have to get to know them. students don't all come from the same place. They don't all have the same educational opportunities or family supports. They may not speak English as their first language. The more you get to know your students, again, in a smaller class environment, the better you can serve them. If we admit a student at Bridgewater State, we have an obligation, a commitment to help them to get through, not to lower standards, but to provide support so that all students can rise up to meet them. For example, Jabbar, half of our students are first in their family to go to college. I was first in my family to go to college, and I went to Bridgewater State, and it was our faculty that leaned in to provide me the kind of guidance and support and mentorship that helped me to succeed and to see something that maybe I didn't see in my family structure, opportunities to become, in my case, a lawyer. And eventually, those opportunities led me to be the president of my own alma mater, Bridgewater State. That's what we do at Bridgewater, and that's what student success at the end of the day really means to us.
Now, most schools, not just in the United States, I have heard also stories through the international institutions that they are really struggling with the issue of retention. Students dropping. It's not just from middle school or high school, but it's really at the level of college level. How Bridgewater State University manage such a phenomenon?
Yeah, the mobility of students today is much more intense than when we were in college. Students do go from community college to a place like Bridgewater. They may go off to a UMass or to a private institution and many other combinations thereof. There is much more mobility. But when the students are with us, as I said, we have an obligation to get to know them and provide supports to, give them the tools that they need to succeed. So we have really remarkable opportunities for our students. We have an academic achievement center that's designed to provide support for freshman students and for transfer students. We have student accessibility services. If you have an intellectual or physical challenge, provide support. We've newly deployed student navigators. We have 6 of them. So students that, from a predictive analytics perspective, might need a little extra support, we surround them with holistic advising to help them through. With all of those items kind of combined, Bridgewater State has one of the higher retention rates of any institution in our mission class. And we have to never give up on that. We have to always remain vigilant, and the work will never stop, especially as students in Massachusetts become more and more diverse, and they're projected to become more and more diverse. We have to evolve to meet those needs as we go forward, and we're doing that.
Now, did you have this challenge? I mean, like last semester or last year? Are we, after, let's say, COVID-19, is BSU in the recovering process in terms of maintaining the students who are enrolled in classes and all of that?
I would say this year, this is fall 2024, was our most normal semester since maybe 2019. And we had a lot of disruption in between. Students came to us, first of all, during COVID, they came to us online. And you pay a price for that. We're human beings. We need to interact with each other. We need socialization. We need to live and learn together. So I think our students really struggled during COVID. And when I say our students, I mean all students at any level. So after...
When you say at any level, meaning undergraduate,
K-12,
undergraduate, and K-12?
No, I mean
K-12,
you're going to
right? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
think we're going to be feeling the effects of COVID for many, many years to come.
Okay.
And when students did come back to campus, I think because they were isolated for a year, 2 years in some cases, I think they struggled a little bit with socialization. There might have been a maturation stall. So we've seen students just struggle a little bit to catch up, to re-engage with each other, to understand what the expectations are to be a college student, to come to class. Number one, that's a low bar. Come to class.
Yes.
Do your homework. Be prepared. Work on your assignments. Study for tests. So yeah, we've had a reboot, not just at Bridgewater State, but in this country. And I think we're going to be working and struggling with that. The last thing I'd mention is students across this country have mental health challenges. We surveyed our Bridgewater students. During COVID, 70% reported a significant mental health struggle. And number one was anxiety, number two was depression. Bridgewater's not unusual. So these students that we have, that we're privileged to serve, have lots and lots of challenges. The question for us is, can we rise up and meet those challenges and provide support?
So you got my question. So you said
not
Bridgewater State University is on the rise. How you translate that? I mean, if you just joined Bridgewater State University, I'm talking to President Fred Clark, President of Bridgewater State University. So Bridgewater State, BSU on the rise.
Yeah.
You said similar statement in 2018.
Yeah.
Tell me about this.
Well, you know, we don't know how to sit still, because even during COVID, when many other institutions kind of physically and literally shut down, we just kept going. We did millions and millions of dollars worth of improvements. We launched 3 programs that are state-of-the-art. Childhood Studies, which is an interdisciplinary program for people that might want to work with children but not necessarily be teachers.
Yeah.
We launched our very first engineering program, photonics engineering, which we are working with MIT and WPI and Stonehill College, you know, to develop a photonics engineering workforce for the future. This is very advanced engineering that will allow for quantum computing in the future. And I can't really tell you what anything more about that science of that is, because that's as far as I can go. But we also launched a cybersecurity program.
But before you go cybersecurity, please. So the photonic is now undergraduate, graduate, and certificate?
Yeah, it's just undergraduate at this point. You know, and just a quick description of photonics engineering. It's the transmission of light.
Yes.
Sorry, it's the transmission of data through light, but not over a wire, point to point. It allows computers to go much faster and never ever heat up, which is why you can do quantum computing. There's also an optical engineering component, you know, like the Hubble Space Telescope and that type of thing. Our equipment is so advanced at Bridgewater State that graduate students from MIT come to Bridgewater State to use our equipment because it's more advanced than what they have at MIT. I'm telling everybody that MIT comes to BSU.
And probably Harvard too. And now you mentioned cybersecurity, and this is a very, very critical program. And whenever you travel, I mean, I was in Cairo just 10 days ago, and I was talking about cybersecurity, and they have some similar programs. But I think BSU program is really state of the art in terms of equipment and all of that. Yeah. So could you highlight this cybersecurity range?
Cybersecurity is a top issue for the United States of America. It's a top issue for Massachusetts. It's a top issue for every single employer and government around the world. It just is. But we do not have a cybersecurity workforce to work in these spaces. In Massachusetts, we have 20,000 open jobs right now. These are high-paid jobs. In the United States of America, right now, we have 700,000 open jobs. There's not enough production of folks with these credentials. Yeah. So Bridgewater State has kind of risen up to meet this challenge. So we have a certificate, an undergrad, and a graduate program in cybersecurity. But what we're doing is unique in the country, which is why the White House has come to Bridgewater, Homeland Security, the Pentagon, the FBI, the state police, and just about every employer group you can imagine, looking at what we're doing. So what are we doing? Yes, we have our undergraduate and graduate and certificate programs in cybersecurity, but we've also built a state-of-the-art cybersecurity range, which we use for our students. It's a simulator. It's a giant simulator for cybersecurity attacks, how to work your way out of them. So, but we open that up, by the way, to municipalities, to school systems, to hospitals, to banks, to employers, to governments, so that everybody can use it. It's a regional resource, truly. We also have something that no one else has, and that is we have a security operations center on our campus. It's almost constructed right now. It'll be open very shortly. Security Operations Center, we have our students, we hire them with the state of Massachusetts to do real-time cybersecurity threat analysis in Southeastern Mass right now. Real threats to real public institutions in real time. So when you graduate from Bridgewater State, you'll have your degree, you'll have practiced on a cyber range, and you will have had a job in a security operations center, and you will be going into jobs that right now are paying 6 figures. We've had students with just certificates go into jobs working for major private employers making $138,000 right out of the gate. So we think that that is a program that is deeply relevant and important. But again, all of that was done during COVID. We don't know how to sit still at Bridgewater State.
Well, that's why Bridgewater is on the rise. Now, for cybersecurity, this is strictly for local students and national students or international students as well. I mean, would that open up the frontier for international students?
First of all, we have international faculty teaching cybersecurity right now in addition to domestic faculty. We have the capability in our cyber range to open that up to anybody around the world to do cyber training or simulations and that type of thing. So no, it's designed for our students first and foremost, but it's open to the world.
Yeah, and you know, when students enrolled in Bridgewater State University, it becomes your students.
Yeah, exactly,
you know, I mean,
right.
That's the definition. Now, just elaborate a little bit what you told me before the program. You had a conference today, or you have now, about social justice, you said?
So equity, you know,
Equity,
really equity. What does equity mean? So
who organized this, and who's the sponsor and all of that?
There's a consortium of 40 different institutions.
40?
40 throughout New England and New York that's led by Bridgewater State. We're really the catalyst, but it's a learning community. People come together. How can we better serve our students in a data-informed way, in an equity-minded way, so that we understand our students and the interventions that they need to succeed. So today we have almost 300 people on campus, from college presidents and chancellors to state leaders from all over those various states, all trying to learn from each other so that we don't leave students behind. You know, I don't know anybody in higher education, I haven't really met anybody in society that purposefully wants to leave people behind. But the question is, what do you do to help advance them? And that's really what that conference was about.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that caught my attention related to the election, you know, you in Bridgewater State University, it appears that you prepare your students to really participate in the election on November 5th. Tell me about this effort.
Yeah. I don't know if we were really prepared 4 years ago or 8 years ago or 12 years ago, but we were prepared this year. So what did we do? Well, working with our faculty and our staff, the administrators, we put together a series of programs that really were designed for voter education. You know, what are the issues and where are people on these various issues? What's the importance of free speech and expression in America today? How do you register to vote? And then the importance of voting, all within a context of citizenship. Because, you know, it's important as Americans, you know, that we are not only informed about the issues, but that we participate in this American democracy through the right and responsibility we all have to vote. So that's what we focused on over the past, really, you know, almost 8 weeks. We did 8 weeks of intense programming, all designed to help our students and faculty and staff be more informed and then ultimately to get out to vote.
So now, is there any follow-up effort for that? Because this is amazing. So it's almost voting literacy.
Yeah, it's voting literacy, that's right, citizenship.
Yes.
You know, what are these institutions in our American democracy, our American republic? I think we can do a little bit more as a society in focusing on civic education as well. And Bridgewater State does play a role with K-12 in that space as well. Post-election, you know, our political science folks do a little bit of post-election debrief, you know, what happened, what does it mean?
Yeah.
And then, you know, from an institutional perspective, we're really working to just make sure we bring people together. You know, you have a home at BSU, you belong, and that's been our post-election theme and will continue to be our theme for the rest of this year.
You belong to Bridgewater State University, and there was a message to the community on, I believe, November 7th, which is 2 days after the election from you, Mr. President, and you said we stick to our values.
Yeah.
And so people, they said, please tell us about your values. Yeah. Is it our values as well as a community?
Yeah. You know, the beauty of Bridgewater is years ago, the whole campus community came together and said, you know, we really need to articulate who we are. What do we stand for? So really led by our faculty. but joined by our staff and our trustees and our students and our alumni, we articulated a values statement, which we literally put in front of Boyden Hall, our administration building, and we remind our campus about our values constantly. Who are we? What do we stand for? At the end of the day, we stand for peace. We stand for peace. We stand for the respect for each other, the humanity of each other. It's not a place that tolerates hate. It's not a place that ever will tolerate hate. We just want people to feel safe, at the end of the day. And it's a safe harbor and a home at Bridgewater State.
Now, what are the challenges in order to put these values into practice? No, honestly, because it's wonderful, talk about values and things. And I know you always remind students, faculty, staff, and everybody that this is important.
Yeah.
What are the challenges to kind of becomes difficult to achieve these points, these values, to put them in practice? People, they feel it.
Yeah. Well, our strategic plan, you already referenced this, has 5 goals. The primary goal is student success. There's many challenges to that. We have a demographic decline in Massachusetts. We have a much more diverse student body that's coming and will come over the next 5 to 10 years. We have question of support. Will the support be there? It will be there at Bridgewater State, but will the federal government provide its support? Will the state government be able to provide its support? Will we be able to provide institutional resources and private philanthropy that's value add and has been value add at Bridgewater? So, will we be able to keep up the kind of facilities that we need in a very fast-moving economy to be sure that we remain relevant? So, I'd say Bridgewater State has its challenges, just like every other higher ed institution does. But the difference, I think, is Bridgewater is rising, and we're ready to meet those challenges.
So Mr. President, when you think the first day of course, everybody appreciates your leadership and your involvement, with the larger community as well, and you have tons of experience. This is not, coming like from yesterday, So how, when you look to the first day you came to Bridgewater State University, as a president, and today?
Yeah. I'm kind of
like the 3-4 points that really stood out, and you say, we need to always work around them to enforce them, reinforce them, or reinforce them forever.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's easy, because for me, the primary goal on day one in my inauguration speech I still talk about today, is student success.
Yes.
We have to be here for our students. It's our reason for our existence. And what can we do to not leave students behind, to close gaps and find ways to lift our students up? So that is the ultimate challenge. That's what gets me up in the morning. That's what motivates me all day long. But to do it also for an affordable price. I would end with this. The Wall Street Journal has ranked Bridgewater State University as one of the best colleges or universities in America. And the reason they did that, and I really love this, it's the Wall Street Journal. They measured return on investment. Did you get into Bridgewater State? What's the cost? Did you get through? What was your debt on the other end? Did you get a job? Did you get a job that pays as well? And when you add it all up, there's some other variables in the mix, they ranked Bridgewater State as one of the best colleges and universities in America. Frankly, I think every ranking should be based on that criteria. Why shouldn't it? So there's a lot to be proud of at BSU.
Now, what's your message to Massachusetts high schools in Massachusetts, senior students in Massachusetts? Yeah. What's your message to regional and national students in the United States? And what's your message to international students that they are keeping an eye on Bridgewater State University?
Well, keep an eye on Bridgewater State.
Difficult statements, but
no. Sometimes you come from a family, and I know this, and you want to go to an institution because it has a name, because it has a brand, But the truth of it is, now I'm a graduate of Bridgewater State, and I've been everywhere. I've been in the White House. I've worked for the Congress. I've been the chair of the Massachusetts Board of Higher Ed, overseeing almost all of higher ed in Massachusetts. The truth of it is, you get out of an education what you put into it. That is the truth.
True.
So, you know, all I would say is put Bridgewater State on your list of college possibilities. Come down and compare. And will you be seen?
Well said.
Do we know who you are? And are we committed to do everything we can to help you to succeed? You don't get that in all the institutions, and I won't name them, but you do get that at Bridgewater State.
So that's for everybody.
Everybody.
You know,
Everybody.
But a special message to international students, and we'll end up with that.
I say to our international students, you know, this is just the truth. Again, I've been in government as well. If you want to see the best of America, you're not going to find it in Hollywood or on Wall Street. I'm sorry, but you're not going to find it in Washington, D.C. You're going to find it in the town of Bridgewater, at a place like Bridgewater State University, where we, I think, have the best American values that international students quickly come to appreciate.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome. Thank
and
you,
thank you
Jabbar.
for watching InFocus. This is Jabbar Al-Ubaidi.